This is an Infinium CLEO vital sign monitor. It can be configured to a standalone SpO2, NIBP, or EtCO2 monitoring device, or a vital sign monitor with the combination of all three functions. First, let's set up patient information. Simply tap on Guest on the upper left corner and enter patient information. Patient ID is required if you want to retrieve the stored data afterwards. Without a patient ID, all data will be cleared when the CLEO is powered off. Time and date setting menu can be entered by tapping on the time on the right upper corner. Currently, we have the display including all three functions. If you only need one or two functions, you can go to Setup, select Display Mode, and choose the desired display combination. Let's start with SpO2 function. Tapping on the SpO2 waveform window will enter SpO2 waveform setup. Here, you can change the sweep speed and the sweep color. Tapping on the SpO2 readings window will enter SpO2 setup. Here, you can turn the alarm on or off and set the high and low alarm limits on SpO2 and pulse rate. Here's the EtCO2 function. Tapping on the EtCO2 waveform window will enter EtCO2 waveform setup. Here, you can set the wave scale, sweep speed, and sweep color. The module type is set during production. Internal indicates this unit has an internal CO2 module. The monitor will have a lure lock connector on the right side. You'll need to connect a filter and a sample line to the unit. If it does not show internal, then this unit has an external CO2 module. The CO2 module will be connected to the CO2 port in the front. A filter and a sample line will be connected to the CO2 module. Tapping on the CO2 readings window will enter EtCO2 setup menu. Here, you can turn the alarm on or off and set the high and low alarm limits on EtCO2 and airway respiratory rate. Apnea delay is the delay time before the no breath alarm is triggered after the monitor detects no breath. CO2 unit can be selected from millimeters of mercury, kilopascal, and percentage. Entering Advanced Setup, you will see the zero option. It is recommended to perform zeroing after a new sample line is connected before each use. Now let's take a look at the NIBP function. Tapping on NIBP window will enter NIBP setup. Here you can select a display color, turn the alarm on or off, set the pressure unit, and the inflation mode. When the inflation mode is manual, it only starts measuring when you give a command by tapping the Start/Stop button. When the inflation mode is set to auto, it will measure automatically according to the set interval. When the inflation mode is set to stat, it will have 3 measurements in a row when you give a command. The inflation memory's default setting is off. When it's on, it remembers the previous measurement and adjusts the initial inflation accordingly. If the first reading is a high BP, it will inflate to a high pressure in the beginning of a second measurement. This feature is helpful when monitoring on the same patient or on a patient group that has similar blood pressure conditions. The inflation pressure is the initial inflation pressure. The default is 180. It can be set to a lower or higher value, depending on which one fits better in the clinical use. In the alarm setup menu, you can change the high and low limits on the adult, systolic, and diastolic alarms. NIBP list gives you the history of the NIBP readings. Tapping on mute will silence the monitor, including the device beeping sound and the alarm sound. Tapping again will unmute. Under the setup menu, you can change the sound volume and brightness level. The alarm switch applies to all alarms. CLEO can be connected to its designated printer with an Ethernet cable. When it has a printer connected, you can do setups here. The HL7 feature is available with no extra cost. The user only needs to enable the service, then set up the remote address according to the facility's EMR configuration. Recall button will bring up the patient history. You can choose to recall a certain patient's data or delete a certain patient's data. Up to 4 patients can be saved.